So welcome back everyone, Mike here. This evening we're out here in the woods at this maple tree. I'll give you the backstory on this tree. Last weekend we had some really strong winds and this tree blew over and it got hung up in an oak tree. So I think it was the next night I came out with my chainsaw and I got it cut off the stump, and when I did, the stump, it just flopped right back over in the ground. And then I thought, you know what, I'll get the RK-37 out here, give it a pull and pull it down out of there so I can cut it up for firewood. So as you can see in that little video clip, it started out well, but as soon as it moved just a few feet, it fell down into that Y where it gets real tight and it's lodged up there, very tight. So I couldn't pull it out with the tractor. So this evening, I'm gonna do my best to get this thing down on the ground. I'm not sure if I'll get it all out today, but I know one thing for sure, I will leave here with a load of firewood. Now, a little disclaimer, like I always say, I am by no means a professional. This is not a how-to video. I'm just going to show you how I do things. I've cut a lot of wood over the years, but like I said, I'm not an expert. But there's a lot of different hazards here on a tree like this, and one of the first things that I do, actually the first thing I always do, is you just want to look it over. You want to figure that tree out, kind of get to know it, and look at where all the pressure points are, where there's bind and compression and where there's tension, and just think it through. You know, you just take your time. A lot of times we all get into a big hurry and you think, oh, I'm just going to cut up through this thing and it's going to fall down, no big deal. You need to look at everything. And so anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of look at this tree over a little bit, figure out how I'm going to approach it, and we'll get started. So like I said, this tree is not sitting on the stump or anything like that. So for my first cut, I'm going to start somewhere in here. I don't want to go too far up the tree and get real greedy. I don't want to be reaching up over my head with the saw. It makes it harder to get away from it when it comes down. And when it's almost horizontal like this, I mean, I know it's not horizontal, but it's almost horizontal. What I like to do, I'll just put a little notch in it right here, and then I'll come up from the bottom, and all the way to this tree, it's just going to want to drop straight down. You know, some people may just cut straight up through there, and it would probably work. I mean, it probably would, but when this tree goes down, you know, you want to look at it. It's wanting to do this with all this weight pointing straight down. So since it wants to do this, I'm going to give it a little bit of wedge here to close, and it'll fall straight down. So before I get started, I'm going to take one more look at this tree. Now I know on this tree here, like I said, I tried pulling it the other day with the tractor. I had it lifted up with the 3-point and the quick hitch, and I just set it on the ground. So I don't have to worry about this tree, you know, going one way or another when I make my cut. The only real pressure on this tree is gravity, wanting to take it straight down. So like I said, I'm not going to get real greedy with the first cut. It's tempting, you know, to come way out here, but I don't want to be reaching way up over my head. It puts me closer to the tree. I want to be somewhere right here. I'll put a little notch right in here, and then come up from the bottom, it'll drop straight down. So on those first two cuts, all that tree wanted to do was drop to the ground. As the angle gets a little bit steeper like this, you know, there's pressure on the bottom of this log where it's dug into the ground, and there's pressure pointing down this way. So when they get like this and the angle gets a little bit steeper, so a lot of times I like to just make a vertical cut. Start right here, come straight down through, and I'll keep my eye up here. If it starts to pinch a little bit, I'll stop and put a wedge in it, and I'll just go straight through, and this will drop straight down that way, and this will fall straight to the ground here. Now if you have a much larger diameter tree, you may have to do like a plunge cut or something like that. But like I said, this is just how I do things. It seems to work out for me. I'm not a professional at all. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in here with a vertical cut straight down through, watch it, make sure it's not pinching. If it is, put a wedge in it and finish my cut. Alright, on this cut I'm going to do the same thing. Come straight down with another vertical cut. If it starts to pinch, I'll put a wedge in it and finish my cut. But I'm at that point in the tree right now where I really have to be careful, because when this one drops, this is going to swing over, and I have to be careful that the whole top doesn't come back out this way on top of me. I don't think that's going to happen here because it's really wedge tight, and there's a lot of branches on the other side of that tree, so that's going to hold it, I hope. That piece didn't swing down at all. It is wedged in there tight. I have a secret weapon for that. So the last piece that I was cutting with the pole saw, right up there in the Y of that oak tree, I was kind of debating back and forth on whether to go all the way through it or just cut it about 3/4 of the way through. And I decided not to cut all the way through it. And the reason is this: I was kind of maxed out on my reach in that pole saw, which kind of brings me in too close to the tree. And I didn't know if when it fell down, if it would fall over towards me or not. So I just decided to leave it like it is for tonight. And what I'll do, next time I'm out here with the tractor, I'll hook a chain onto it and probably just pull it perpendicular, which a lot of people mentioned that in the comments of the last video, you know, to try to hook onto it with the tractor and break it off. Now that it's cut almost all the way through, it'll break right off, no problem at all. That's one of those things, you know, when you're cutting, you're like, man, another 3 or 4 seconds and you're through it. But I didn't really want to get hit with what was left of that, so I decided not to. But anyway, I'm going to load this firewood up. I got a nice load of firewood here. I got about 90% of this down. And one tug with the tractor, and I'll have the rest of it next time I have it out here. But anyway, like I always say, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button, click subscribe, and share them with your friends. Thanks.